Hello, you guys. I'm going to go on here and share a little piece of my life. It's a little unnerving to go on here this morning, but I believe God speaks to me in my dreams. So I process those in the morning, and I ended up writing out a lot in my journal regarding how Amy Grant has played a significant role in my life. Because in 1991, I really loved the song Baby, 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 I'm taken with a notion. Such a great song by Amy Grant. That came out in 1991, and it was my theme song for a new romance that I was about to get involved in. And I went and picked up the CD. It was called Heart in Motion. I was living in Las Vegas, working as a cocktail waitress. And on that CD was another song called Ask Me. Ask me how I know there's a God up in the heaven. Where did he go in the middle of her shame? It's a song about a little girl who was defiled, and as a grown woman, she was realizing that God's mercy was bringing her life again. And even though I bought the CD for Baby Baby, that song really stuck with me. Not that I was ever defiled by a man. I was molested at 8 years old by a female babysitter. But mostly I related that song to the first relationship I had with a girlfriend. And I believe my deep involvement with her came from the compassion I felt from her telling me all of these violating stories of her life as a foster child. So, Amy Grant, because I dreamed about her last night, I'm going through all of this and how God has used Amy Grant in my life. So, that was 1991. In 1993, I got saved because I went to a church to ask God about what was going on in my life because I was dissatisfied with that relationship from the theme song Baby Baby. That romantic relationship was not working out. But in the interim, I did get saved. Amy Grant stayed in my life. I started listening to more Amy Grant music and realized she's a Christian artist. That's what she was most known for. And I just happened to be turned on to her because of that one song that made the top 40, Baby Baby. So thank God for Amy Grant. He's used her in my life. So then I go on to 1993. I'm born again Christian. And after that, I get a computer in 1998, and I start hearing stories about Amy Grant. People are shaming Amy Grant. And I had a wonderful Christian friend at the time, and I'm a new Christian, so I'm still learning. She said, Cindy, if you listen to those news threads, they're gossiping about Amy Grant, and that makes you a gossiper too. You don't do that. And I thought, well, great. That's a relief because I was very disturbed, by what I was reading. Because gossip is a reputation killer. So fast forward to 2005. And I am considering moving out of Las Vegas, leaving an 18-year profession with great wages and pay. I'm going to pursue my songwriting career in Nashville. So I book a flight and book a hotel stay for 5 days so that I can hear from God. Like, give me a sign. I'll know in my spirit if this is something I should proceed ahead in. And so I was there for 5 days, and I remember one evening in the hotel room getting ready to venture out into Nashville. I heard the Grand Ole Opry as it was being played on an AM station, and Vince Gill was dedicating the song Just Give Me Jesus to his bride, Amy Grant. So that was awesome. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to visit the Grand Ole Opry during my stay there, and I was just blessed to hear that, and just another nod from God through Amy Grant. So then I did head back to Vegas, and because of all the signs that happened thereafter, I mean, I found the house, I found the neighborhood. I go back to Nashville, go back to Vegas, sell my house, and I move back to Nashville. It's 2005, and a new series is coming on, and it's called Three Wishes, and Amy Grant is the host of the series. It's a reality show where Amy grants wishes, and that was just a comfort to me. Here I am in a place where I know nobody. I did know my wonderful hairdresser, Yuli Reyes. He had moved there, and that was a wonderful. But other than that, there was nobody. But I did have a house that was picked out for me by God, paid for, because my house sold and I used the equity, so I paid for my house in cash. I was settling in. I got a job, a very minimalistic job, driving cars for budget. And across from the way at the airport was the valet parking. And I would wait for cars to park, and I would talk to the valet parkers. And I befriended one guy who was telling me about the celebrities whose cars he parked, the musicians, the country stars. And Amy Grant came up in conversation. So I would love to meet Amy Grant. And he told me that when he ever has to park their car again, he'll let me know, because she lets them know when she's coming down. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm such a stalker, but I want to meet Amy Grant. So that happened for me. She was coming out of the elevator with Vince Gill, and she's walking across, and I said, Amy, I want to tell you a story. And she stopped and turned around, and Vince kept walking, but she attentively listened to my story about how her CD with Baby Baby on it had affected my life, and how her talking about Jesus on that CD had brought Jesus back into my awareness, and I hadn't thought about him for a long, long time. So I'm telling her that story, and I was telling her the story, and yet I was romanticizing that song Baby Baby in a way that, you didn't write it for that reason, but it just made for a more dramatic, exciting story. And she realized at the time that my life had changed. I no longer I had now had pure relationships with my female friends. My friendships are pure. It's been that way for 25 years, but Amy Grant was a catalyst for that, Amy Grant. And then what happened after that? Let's see, Grand Ole Opry. Oh yeah, I was working at the Grand Ole Opry. After I left the budget rental place, I needed a little more money than $6 an hour, even though my mortgage was paid. So while I was working at the Grand Ole Opry, there was a new online site. MySpace was popular at the time. Facebook wasn't even popular. It wasn't that well known at the time. It was a Christian forum that was similar to MySpace, but only for Christians. And I'm not going to name what it was, but some of my friends on here will know the name of that website. But they were dark. They weren't bringing any light. I saw a lot of gossip, and I was quickly disenchanted. And at one point, there Amy Grant was being shamed again. So I was inspired to write a very positive song with Amy Grant named in it that would turn people's thoughts around to be thinking the right way. And I'm very proud of that song. It's the very first professional recording that I did with producer Mark Eric in Nashville in 2007. And I will put the YouTube link in the comments. Do I have a YouTube of that? No, I think it's on Reverb Nation. So I'll give you an audio clip. But I brought all of this up to say that God does use people in our lives. And for me, he used Amy Grant in really, really, really wonderful ways. And so, last night's dream was a very familiar dream. I felt like she was my friend, and I was waiting on her in a restaurant, and I pulled out all these magazine articles that I had on Amy Grant, which I've never had magazine articles on Amy Grant, but that's what the dream depicted. And then as she left, she walked by me and she gave me a big hug, and she just showed me God's love. And that's what Amy Grant has always represented for me. And I Would love for you guys to share your stories about Amy Grant. I do look forward to one day just sitting there and hearing her stories about how God spoke to her through other people, because he certainly has spoken to me through Amy Grant, and I'm a grateful girl. So God truly knows. He truly wants you to understand love, because he is love, and God's ways and thoughts are not our ways, and he has a way of keeping us on track. It's just a beautiful thing. So I'm going to look at your comments now. You guys, thanks for watching. I'm probably going to do a watch party on this so that more people can see it at a later date, because it's very important to me. And I am going to put it on YouTube in hopes that I can connect with Amy Grant and let her know what a blessing she's been in my life. You guys have a great weekend. Love you. Bye.